Hey everyone, George here, and welcome back to the Art of Water. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. First of all, we're going to be talking a little bit about some things that are going on within the channel here that are kind of exciting for me and hopefully are going to be beneficial to you guys who follow me or those who are just looking to resource information online that might be a little bit difficult to find. So, number one, some of the in-house things that are going to be going on here is, as I said a few months back, we are going to be working hard to not only increase the quality of our content, increase the quality of our videos, and also bring in some subjects here that are going to be much more interesting and beneficial to those who are in the hobby. One of the first things that you're going to notice over the next couple of months is we will be having an intro uh, clip that will be attached to all of the videos that will basically sort of bring the channel up and the subject up, and then we'll have a small little clip that will splash our logo on the screen, and it'll be a very good high quality HD 4K clip that is going to look pretty darn sharp. I think that what we've picked out and what we're going to be working with is going to be really nice looking, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's going to make the channel pop and kind of really not do anything for you regarding the hobby, but it's going to be much more enjoyable to watch. And we're just kind of excited about that. That's more excitement for us than it is for you. But the second thing that's going to be going on with the channel here is we're going to be uh, doing a few more field trips. We haven't done much of that, which means I'm going to be on camera a lot more. Um, that doesn't bother me or scare me because I have done that for many years, and I'm the kind of person that really does not have a problem being on camera. I'm not camera shy or any of those things, and I'm kind of looking forward to doing some of that. I'm kind of excited about having the opportunity to get in front of the camera again and do a little bit of talking about one of my favorite subjects. Now, as most of you know, this is a hobby for me. This is not my livelihood. So I don't have sponsors. I may talk about certain products on here, but those are only conversations that I have regarding products that I personally use and approve or uh, find a reason that I feel like they should be incorporated into a video because they're great products. Now, Seachem would be one of those. Fluval is another. And there's a couple of others out there that I'm not going to say anything right now, but we're looking to get some sponsorships on some of our videos so that our content can be a little bit better by having some resources that gives us the opportunity to make some really nice videos that I think you're going to really enjoy. So that's part of the housekeeping that's going on here that I wanted to talk about. And the second topic is obviously this tank that I am pointing the camera at right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about this particular tank here. Now, what we have here is basically a 20-gallon Landon, and this is a low iron tank that is one of my favorite tanks. The one thing I don't like about it is that it does not hide any of your equipment in the back and that sort of thing. I don't mind a light showing, but having pumps showing and heaters and that sort of thing, I'm not real excited about that and have been moving away from it. This is one of the very few tanks that I have left in my collection of tanks that does not have an enclosed area for all of that. So we're going to be getting within the next couple of weeks a tank that is going to be a handmade tank by a great company that a friend of mine has sort of pointed in my direction, and I've researched them and done a lot of informational sort of looking around about that company, and found them to be a company that a lot of people seem to love their products. So that company is called Fiji-cube, and they are out of Wisconsin or Minnesota. I can't remember which one. I believe it's Minnesota, actually, now that I think about it. Anyways, I've contacted them, and that tank will be shipping tomorrow. It will be a 40-gallon Peninsula sort of style tank. Now, the reason why we're looking to do that with this particular area, this is sort of a gathering area for family members and so forth that are just, watching TV, listening to music and so forth. It's not the most glamorous part of a home. It is actually a place that if you had a basement, this would be sort of the place that people would hang out in the basement to sort of play board games, watch TV, listen to music, just hang out. Just hang out, really. So what we're going to be doing is putting that 40-gallon on this table. Now, these guys are putting this tank together basically to fit this particular table right here. And it's because it's behind a nice, beautiful leather sofa that I like a lot. And I think it's just going to look great here. And one of the things that it will have, being a Peninsula style tank, if you're familiar with Peninsula style tanks, this part of the tank here on one end, which will be way over here at this point, is going to be, it's going to be, way in this direction here. And I'm going to move the camera just a little bit to show you what I mean by that. But on this end here, right in this area, this will come, this 38-gallon will come to, or 40-gallon, excuse me, will come to about right here, leaving maybe 6 inches on each end, and all of this space going forward and the space that's left on the table going back in that direction will all be used up, and the tank will also be about another 3.5 to 4 inches high. So it's pretty substantial. It's getting away from the nano size tanks that I have always had, and it's going to be a new and exciting sort of project for me, because it's something that I have not done a lot of, larger tanks. So we are going to be resourcing some of the pieces that are in this tank. The first thing that we're going to keep for sure, because this is a well-cycled tank and we're going to have to do this in a timely manner and really think about it, is the substrate in here. I'm going to be resourcing that, or reallocating that to the new tank. And of course, there's not going to be enough of that in there to do that. And I will be using fluval stratum. And we're also going to be putting in a scape that I have not done very much with. It's very much a Japanese style scape that I think you're really going to enjoy. It's going to involve a lot less of these larger plants, a lot more smaller plants with rocks and hills that are sort of going to look like maybe a coastal region on either west coast or the east coast of the United States. It doesn't matter. They both look the same in many ways when you get to certain areas. But we will be sort of designing it around that kind of look, with a lot of openness for a lot more room for the fish. Now, the tiger barbs that are in here, the emerald greens, they seem to be a favorite in my home here. with my family. So we're going to have to figure out a way to incorporate that. The the six that are in this tank, there are also six cherry barbs. They're not out and about right now because they're kind of shy when I'm just hanging out here. If I were feeding them, they would go absolutely crazy and practically take my fingers off. These guys were very small fish when I first got them, so a 20-gallon suited them perfectly. But because we're going to be doing this redesign and because we like these fish so much, we're going to be adding to the school and probably adding, on top of the six that we have, adding another 10. Um, these fish get to be right around 2 to 2.5 inches. Most of them, if they're in an aquarium setting, they're really not going to get probably any bigger than 2 inches at the most. So we'll be able to get a nice school of those going in here. We're going to be also incorporating some beautiful blue velvet shrimp. Going to do a little more research on that because I'm a little concerned about the barbs and the shrimp as to whether or not my shrimp are just going to be someone's afternoon meal here. So we don't want that, but we're going to research that a little bit and see if we can get some larger blue velvets that will work in here. We're also going to be putting some snails in here, some autocinclids, of course, to keep down any possibility of algae. I don't have algae problems in my tanks for several reasons. The first reason is because I do tremendous amounts of water changes that just sort of keep that going. But one of the things, as I've talked about in other videos, is that the more plants you have, the more of a handle you have on controlling any kind of algae growth in a tank. Lighting also affects that, as we all know. Water, as I just mentioned a minute ago, the quality of your water is also going to have a huge impact on that. But basically what we're going to be dealing with, and this might be the biggest challenge of all, is we are going to be using a lot of rock and a lot of substrate, and the plants that are going to be going in are going to be very short growing grassy plants in the front area. I will be downloading some pictures when I edit this that will show you exactly the kind of scape that we're looking at, and I think you're going to get a great idea as to what we're kind of thinking here. There won't be any wood in here at all. I have not done that before, so that's kind of spooking me a little bit because I love working with wood, making, scapes where you have the little bonsai trees and that kind of thing. So again, I'm going to be looking to you people out there if you have any ideas on how I can still have some of those little kinds of things in there that are not real big. Everything in the tank is going to be scaled around a sort of an island sloping type scape where we're going to be incorporating a lot of different kinds of mosses and some grassy plants and things like that that are sort of going to mimic what you would see on a coastal region in the United States, or pretty much anywhere around the world with rock and sand and that sort of thing. And I just think it's going to be a lovely tank. I think it's going to be a beautiful tank to look at. And we're going to film this this build and this scape. And I think that we'll do it in sections because it's going to be one of those tanks that's going to be something that is going to take a little time. So I will probably be putting some models together before I actually start putting hardscape in the tank itself. and sort of get an idea of what the look is going to be, take some pictures of that, and then try to put that back together as best I can using the very rock that will eventually end up in this new tank. So it'll be a 40-gallon. It will have a nice, like I said, enclosed area off to this side where the filter and heater and our filtration system, pump, and all of that stuff will be stored and kept, and you won't see any of it. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. I've seen the tank. I know what it's going to look like, and I'm real excited about working with it because I've never worked with a Peninsula style tank before, but it gives you an opportunity to basically have three sides of your tank that are just going to be a showpiece. And what I mean by that is if you're looking from this direction or you're on the opposite side on the sofa or the leather couch or whatever this is over here, sectional, you're going to be able to see both sides of it, and I'm going to scape it so that they're equally beautiful on both sides. And then if you're looking from this direction over here, we're also going to have it so that that side of the tank, the view from that side of the tank is going to be equally as lovely. You know, it's going to be a lot of change for this particular area because the tank is literally going to be, you know, quite a bit bigger, almost double the size of what we have here. And I'm excited to work with that, and I'm excited to work on a scape that I've always wanted to do. It's a Japanese style scape, and I think that it's going to be very beautiful by the time I'm done, and I think you're going to be excited to see it, and it's going to be probably one of the better scapes that I've ever done. Like I said, I'm going to be modeling this thing in a area that's basically going to be built to be the same size as the tank, with three open sides where I can play around with the rocks without putting sand and stuff down, of course, but getting an idea of exactly the layout of the tank and having a really good idea about how it's going to look before I ever start the build. One of the concerns I do have, however, is with the barbs themselves. I do want to keep these kind of fish in there. I love the green blue color that these guys are, and they're just really pretty fish with beautiful reddish, orangish reddish, depending on the light, sort of fins that have a beautiful ribbon of red around their fins, and this patchy green and blue sort of body on these fish is really, really attractive. So my family sort of decided that's what they wanted to continue to do, but the concern I have, I'll get back to that right now because it's the biggest concern I have. Barbs do like a well-planted tank with places to hide, and that's not going to be the case any longer. This is going to be quite an open area, and it'll be a bit of a challenge to do it because, well, again, we're going against the nature of the barb itself, and putting fish in an aquarium where they may not like it because there aren't going to be a lot of places to hide. So that's going to be a challenge, but these fish, number one, have been around a long time, so they're not afraid of people. However, they are hiding right now, and I'm not sure why, but you would never know that there were 6 of those in there and 6 cherry barbs in here, because right now it looks like we have all of 2 fish in here. In fact, one of them ran when I pointed my finger. But that open area, the stone that we're going to be using, Suguji stone, or I'm thinking about maybe using Frodo stone. I'm not too sure which one I'm going to be using. I'm kind of struggling with that, but it's going to be one of those two. We're going to be using lots of mosses that we glue down, and not a lot of wood, if any, and going to have sort of a pathway and a beach type look to it. So very excited about doing this, and looking forward to tearing all of this down and sort of getting this new project going over the next couple of weeks. And I think that when we get going on this, it's going to be quite beautiful. And you know, the problems with the fish that I mentioned a few minutes ago are going to be something that we're just going to sort of have to play by ear. If the fish, for whatever reason, have an issue, we're going to have a backup where we will be putting something completely different in here. I personally wanted this to be a 40-gallon on this table here that was a Peninsula that had this beautiful Japanese style of scaping on it, but had nanofish of sorts in here. And I'm not sure exactly what kind I had in mind, but there were a couple of different ones. I was thinking celestial pearl danios. I was thinking about ember tetras. I was thinking about neon blue rasporas or chili rasporas, all of which would be great fish for a 40-gallon tank that is scaped this way. But we're going to try it with the emerald green tiger barbs here and see if that works out well. Anyways, lots of exciting stuff happening in this part of the house, and I'm really looking forward to getting the tank. It should be arriving within the next couple of days. I know that it is already shipped and is on its way, so we're kind of excited to get that and start really thinking about the design and going from there. Anyways, George here with the Art of Water. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It shows me that you guys are interested in the content that I'm putting out, and it also shows me a level of interest that makes it worth doing these videos and going after maybe some sponsors, and also investing more money into camera equipment and that sort of thing. That like I said, this is a hobby for me. This is not my main living. Everybody knows what I do, so that's no secret. But you will be seeing me doing this and really getting into this particular build because I'm very interested in this style, and I think that it's going to be kind of fun to work with the materials that I'm talking about here and with the design that I have in mind. Anyway, George with the Art of Water, thank you again. Like I said, subscribe. Please hit the like button. More subscribers and more likes would be wonderful. And I know a lot of that comes down to the content and the quality of the videos. You will not be seeing that intro clip that I talked about with the logo and the interesting introduction to the video for another couple of weeks, probably a few more videos down the road. But once you do, I really think that you're going to love it, and it's going to be taking it to a whole nother level, and I think it's going to be really beautiful, and it'll be a lot of fun. So again, subscribe, hit the like button, share it with your friends. That always is very helpful. And the last thing I would tell you is leave comments, because that's the way that we all learn. We learn from people who have experience with different sorts or different types, I should say, of scaping and different kinds of tanks and different styles of scaping, that sort of thing. And those comments are real important. I would love the input on the tiger barbs, the green emerald green tiger barbs, as to whether or not most people feel that these fish will thrive in this environment or not. I do not want to harm fish. That is not my goal ever. And I'm hoping that this will be a great tank for them. Anyways, George with the Art of Water, again, thank you, and we will talk again soon. And when we do, we're going to have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Anyways, we'll talk again soon.